Council, we are live on YouTube as well as our Zoom.
Everybody got their opinion.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, October the 5th City Council meeting. I now call this meeting to order. Our Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation this afternoon will be given by Councilman Byrd. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We do have one special presentation this afternoon, which will be given by Councilwoman Dotley.
Thank you, Chair. Chattanooga City Council proclamation. Whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Johnson and was expanded by President Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th. And whereas each year the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, as well as those who came from Central and South America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Spain. And whereas, although too numerous to recognize individually by name, Hispanic and Latino individuals serve as civil rights leaders and community organizers, politicians, soldiers, educators, journalists, first responders, pioneers in art and science, healthcare professionals, athletes, inventors, entertainers, and so much more. And whereas Hispanics continue their rich tradition of significant and diverse contributions to the cultural, educational, economic, and political vitality of not just Chattanooga, but our nation. Now, therefore, I, Rakita Dotley of the Chattanooga City Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2021 as Hispanic Heritage Month and encourage our residents to honor the rich diversity of the Hispanic and Latino communities and celebrate the many ways they contribute to our society. Rakita Dotley, City Councilwoman, District 7. And thank you, Councilwoman Coonrod, for this.
All right, thank you. All right, could I have a motion on the minutes, please? All right, we have a motion on the minutes with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hill. Councilman Ledford. Councilman Hester. Councilwoman Byrd. Councilwoman Dotley. Councilman Byrd. Councilwoman Coonrod. Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
8 yeses.
the ayes have it. Moving now to our order of business. for this afternoon. Ordinances, final reading. Madam Clerk, 5A, please.
An ordinance to suspend the second division of Chattanooga City Court effective the end of the current term and before the next general election, and to amend Chattanooga City Code sections 1218 and 1219.
What is the pleasure of the council? We have a motion on the floor with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Coonrod, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilman Hester, Councilman Ledford, Councilwoman Hill, Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That is 7 yeses.
motion does carry. Moving now into ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk, would you read 6A, please?
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 25, Section 25-2, curfew for minors.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Councilwoman Coonrod,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to. What's the word you
would you like to move to substitute the pending
substitute
ordinance?
The pending ordinance with 2019 Tennessee Code Title 39, Chapter 1702.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor to substitute the pending ordinance with the new ordinance that reflects the state version. Do I have a second? All right, are there any questions or comments? Now, this is a motion to substitute, and then there'll be another motion to approve as substituted. Does everybody understand and clear on what we're voting on? We're moving at this time just to substitute. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hill, Councilman Ledford, Councilman Hester, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Coonrod, Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 8 yeses.
the motion to substitute does carry. Now, Councilwoman Coonrod. Okay, now we have a motion on the floor to approve as substituted. Do I have a second? Now with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? All right, this is a motion to approve as substituted. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Hill, Councilman Ledford, Councilman Hester, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Coonrod, Chairman Henderson.
Yes.
8 yeses.
Motion carries. Moving now into resolutions. Madam Clerk, Councilman Byrd indicated earlier today that he wanted to defer items A and B. If there's no objection, let's read those together.
Item A, a resolution considering short-term vacation rental application number 21 STV R130 for property located at 1454 Jefferson Street. Item B, a resolution considering short-term vacation rental application number 21 STV R150 for property located at 1450 Jefferson Street.
Councilman Byrd?
Thank you, Chair. It was brought to my attention that both of these parties, one was sick and one was out of town. And so with that, I would like to move to defer for 1 week.
Is it your intention to move, defer until the October the 12th meeting?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to defer until October the 12th with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Coonrod, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilman Hester, Councilman Ledford, Councilwoman Hill, Chairman Henderson.
Yes.
8 yeses.
Motion to defer until October the 12th carries. Moving now, Madam Clerk, into the finance. 7C, please.
A resolution to accept the current year financial report from the Chattanooga Business Improvement District CBID and approve the proposed budget for fiscal year 2022 activities, including authorizing the interim treasurer to collect a special assessment fee for tax year 2021.
What is the pleasure of the council? Okay, we do have a motion on the floor to approve item 7C with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? Councilman Ledford.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to note, we did receive a letter from the Downtown Chattanooga Alliance doing business, I guess, in the form of the bid or vice versa. I'm reading through it, and this has come forth again in the 11th hour, even later than it did last year, and I'd still have some concerns. So I just wanted to voice that. I'm going to try and read this letter before we get to the vote, but I'm going to do my best.
Okay. If you need to pass, we can come back to you if you need to do that. All right, any other questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Coonrod, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilman Hester, Councilman Ledford, Councilwoman Hill, Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 5 yeses.
that is 5 yeses. Motion to approve does carry. Moving now into Parks and Public Works. Madam Clerk, if there are no objections, would you take 7D and E together, please?
Item D, a resolution authorizing the interim deputy administrator of Parks and Outdoors to enter into a second amendment to Aquarium Plaza water feature maintenance agreement with the Tennessee Aquarium and nonprofit agency in substantially the form attached for the term of 3 years with the option to renew for additional terms of 3 years each with a term expiration of October 10, 2030 with a full compensation subject to the appropriation of funds for the annual amount of $322,500. Item E, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to accept grant funds from the Lyndhurst Foundation to cover the contracted costs for an update to Chattanooga's downtown tree inventory in the amount of $35,000.
What is the pleasure of the council? We have a motion on the floor to approve items 7D and E with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hill, Councilman Ledford, Councilman Hester, Councilwoman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Coonrod, Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion does carry. All right, now moving into purchases. Julia, you with us this afternoon?
Good evening, council. We have 5 purchases this evening. The first is from the purchasing department in the mayor's office. This is the first of 2 renewals for paper goods from American Paper and Twine Company. The vendor supplied the renewal approval and a price increase of 12%. No additional funds will be added. The second is also from the purchasing department in the mayor's office. This is the first of 2 renewals for paper goods from Jacobs Paper Company. The vendor supplied their renewal approval and a price increase of 16%. No additional funds will be added. The third is also from the purchasing department and mayor's office. This is the first of 2 renewals for paper goods from COS Business Products and Interiors. The vendor supplied their renewal approval and a price increase of 14%. No additional funds will be added. The fourth purchase is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This purchase is to repair 6 trash trucks to include cylinder removal, pressure washing, R&R floor plate repair, AR 500 water plates where needed, and reassembly. The award will go to GarageBound LLC for a total annual cost estimate of $42,000. The final purchase is from Community Development. This will be a new 4-year contract for overgrowth and litter abatement, as well as structure boarding. 4 bids were requested and 2 were returned. Due to the level of demand, the award will go to both Grass Buster Lawn Maintenance and Tower Construction Co. for a total annual cost estimate of $400,000.
Council, what is your pleasure? We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments about our purchases this afternoon? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hill, Councilman Ledford, Councilman Hester, Councilwoman Burrs, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Coonrod, Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion to approve purchases does carry. Anything else, Julia?
Yes, we have one RFP format recommended for approval. We're requesting approval to issue this RFP, not approval to award any contracts. This is from Economic Development. This is a request to solicit proposals for a development and resource center for community businesses and especially disadvantaged businesses to be located in the Kelly Building, using the RFP format to, one, allow for the proposals to include use of the Kelly Building, and two, to allow for selection of the best offer based on the applicability to the need, the plan for accomplishing the end result, and the qualifications of the proposer, rather, in addition to the cost to the city.
Councilman Ledford,
Move to approve RFP.
did I hear a second? Okay. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Coonrod, Councilman Byrd, Councilwoman Dotley, Councilwoman Burrs, Councilman Hester,
Sir, did you say you were going to pass?
Councilman Ledford, Councilwoman Hill, Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
Councilman Hester.
Let me give Councilman Hester, you did pass. You do have an opportunity to voice a vote if you would wish at this time.
I say yes.
Okay. Motion to approve does carry. I assume that was all of the items that Julia had for us, as she's no longer at the podium. All right, council, we are down to our committee reports at this time. Councilwoman Coonrod. Councilman Byrd. Councilwoman Dotley. The vice chair is not here. Councilwoman Burrs. Councilman Hester.
We met today and we meet also in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Planning and zoning did meet today where we covered all items on our agenda.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hill. You want to hit your line? That way we can all hear you. Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll have a brief meeting of the innovation portion of the Education and Innovation Committee on the 19th. That's in 2 weeks.
Very good. Thank you. That completes all items on our agenda this afternoon. Madam Clerk, did we have anyone to register to speak on our Zoom platform?
No one registered.
No one has registered to speak on our Zoom platform. Is there anyone present with us this afternoon that would like to address the council at this time? Okay, very good. I'm going to ask the attorney if she would to read the rules to address the council. And if you'd like to go ahead and proceed to the podium, you can make your way down at this time.
Each speaker wishing to address the council shall be recognized only at the microphone provided here at the podium. Wait for Chairman Henderson to recognize you, please, and state your name and district number. Limit your comments, please, to subjects within the legislative and quasi judicial authority of the council, and we will limit your comments to 3 minutes unless you're granted extra time.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. IT, you want to give us 3 minutes on the clock, please? There we go.
Good evening, council. My name is Sean Nix. I reside in 2725 Cannon Avenue in Councilman Anthony Byrd's district, District 8. It is a pleasure to speak with you all today, but I feel like I shouldn't have to speak to you all about the pressing matter of gang violence and violent crime that has taken place in our community. As an educator, as a advocate for those who feel that they are voiceless, I felt that I was compelled to speak with you all today. I attended the meeting with Commissioner Mackey and City Councilwoman Coonrod made a powerful statement that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And that's right. We do need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but we also need to think about those who do not have the foundation to pull up from. And so I'm speaking to you all today. I'm urging you all to think about the socioeconomic status that we have in our community, the economic divide that we have in our city, bridging the divide in our community between the have and the have-nots. People talk about the hurt that's in our community, but they don't understand where hurt comes from. Hurt people hurt other people. And I believe that we need to start implementing true change in our community. And it starts with social and emotional learning. It starts with teaching individuals at a young age, while we have our YFD centers, teaching them how to deal with their emotions and how to work on those skills and how to deal with trauma. As an advocate for the LGBT community, I deal with trauma each and every day. As an educator at Eastlake Academy, I deal with trauma each and every day. One of my students lost their mother right in front of their eyes. Right in front of their eyes, they lost their mother at 13. How can we deal with that? It's time for us to put aside our egos. It's time for us to work together. It's time for us to truly bridge this divide in our community. It's time for county and city to work in tandem to put forward social policies that are going to increase the lifespan of our citizens. And I yield my time. Thank you.
All right, sir. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
As soon as we get 3 minutes on the clock, you can begin, sir.
Okay.
There we go.
Hello, City Council. As the guy who spoke before me, it is a pleasure to have this forum to be able to come in and speak. My name is Timothy Dale. I am a father. I'm a single father of 3 boys. And me and two of my sons, my 2 youngest sons, we moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee in November of last year. And we came here because my sons love football and they're athletes and they think they can make it to the NFL. And I was living in Georgia previously, but I found out things didn't work out well for COVID-19 kicked in. I lost my job there. So I started calling places in the state of Tennessee that had a shelter that would take a man and children, because it's not very common that they have shelters for that. So anyway, me and my boys said we came to Chattanooga so my boys can get involved in the Pee Wee League football team. Unfortunately, when we got here, I had lost my ID on the megabus. So we weren't able to get into the McClellan Center. So we stood out there on 11th Street where all the homeless people are at, and everything. And we waited, try to figure out what we were going to do next. And the young lady told us there's a hotel room down the street. She took a liking to my son, so she just started giving them things. And then she told me that lady over there, who was Marlene Marsh, over there, she rents rooms. So I said, can you talk to her for me? Because I don't know her. She talked to her for me. And Marlene knew I had money in my pocket. I gave her the money. She took me to Alden Park. So on April 15th, and I'm going past all the eviction things that she did illegally to us, but on April 15th, we went to court, eviction court. The judge ruled in my favor, gave us an extension, and by the time me and my boys got on the city bus to head back home, when we got there, our house was on fire. It's known that she had someone set it on fire, but that's a whole nother story. So when the house got set on fire, we became homeless. And we started calling agencies and stuff. They barred me from downtown. All agencies on 11th Street barred me. They won't tell me why I'm barred. They won't give me any type of documentation. They won't give me any type of restore or anything. So I came to City Hall to complain. They had us come back the next day. When we came back the next day, DFAX took my sons from me. And the way they did it, they held us in the lobby for hours, 4.5 hours before a judge would give her the thing to take my boys. I'm not a bad father and I want my sons back and I need someone to help me get them.
Chief, is this a job that maybe Joda could look into? Sir, after our meeting, you see the gentleman right here with his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Would you get with him after the meeting?
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much, Council.
All right, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council?
And it'll be brief. Good afternoon, council. My name is Brian Bush, and I come this evening to inform you of my intention to run for Chattanooga City Court Division 1 in next year's election. As many of you probably have seen in an email you received earlier this afternoon. I'm running because I think the court could better operate to serve the people of Chattanooga. And I certainly look forward to working with each of you to make Division 1 a stronger, more effective court to serve the people of Chattanooga. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Dexter Joshua, and I'm an employee at Public Works. I've been there for 18 years, and I'm a knuckle boom operator. Recently, they had changed our area knuckle boom driver to made them a 5, and they left the other 4 down here that been driving. I've been driving like for 10 years, and they left us back at 4s. And I don't think that's fair because we driving the same machine, and I told them, they said, well, they want you to drive for garbage if you have to. I raised my hand to drive, but they want you to move in that department to be able to drive, which I don't think is fair. I think if they wanted me to drive, they can just come to ask my supervisor and then I just go and drive. Because when they low on help, they send their orders over to us to fill for them, to drive for them. So we have no problem with doing that. But why do I have to stay here 4 when they turn everybody else 5s? And I've been there for so long. It's like about 5 more drivers that's doing the same thing. That's all. Thank you.
What, I didn't get your district number. What?
I work for the forestry department.
No, your district number. What district do you live in?
In Brainerd.
In the Brainerd area?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that's here tonight would like to address the council at this time? All right, council, we have no one registered to speak to us on our Zoom platform, seeing no one else in the audience. What is your pleasure? So moved. To what?